Cadent, who I think is going to be joining in just a second. You know, it's funny, Lisa, I was looking at my calendar. I think it was yesterday, and it was the initial date that we had earmarked to bring brand leaders to Mattel for the Women in Marketing program this year, which obviously didn't happen, but we are excited to, when we can, we're excited to bring that one. That'll be really special. But it was on my calendar from that first conversation we had last year, but we'll be back soon, I hope. And we have Jim here from Cadent. Welcome, Jim.
Hello, how are you? Happy Friday to everybody.
Happy Friday. So this is my cue to bow out. I think the audience is getting sick of me, so I will turn it over to you guys and let you have a great conversation, and I'll be back in when you're done to thank you both.
Great, thanks so much. Listen, before we get started, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy weekend. Make sure everybody stays safe and well, right? And hopefully we're ending the week on a exciting, fun note as I talk to Lisa McKnight, the SVP of Global Head of Barbie and Doll Portfolio at Mattel. And I just want to say that this is a little bit near and dear to my heart. For those who don't know, that I was the EVP of Sales for Nickelodeon for many, many years, and Mattel was our most important and largest account. So for me, this is a big passion, and I say thank you, Lisa, for joining us on Friday.
Well, my pleasure. It's great to be here. And Jim, I want to echo what you said. Obviously, we've had such a great, long-standing partnership with Nick, and it's fun that our paths have crossed. Yes,
so much so. So, you know, I know we only have 30 minutes, and I want to hear so much about Barbie and what you guys are doing. So I'm going to jump right into it. When we spoke the other day, the one thing that I've always been amazed by is just the legacy of Barbie and how through so many generations, Barbie has maintained its incredible ideological place in kids and adults' heart. And I would love for you to tell me, how do you keep a brand like Barbie so relevant for so many years?
Well, it's certainly not easy. You know, Barbie has been around for 61 years, and certainly throughout the decades, we've had many highs, but we've also, of course, had a couple lows. But I would say what remains true is when we connect to culture and when we stay true to the original vision behind the brand, which is to inspire the limitless potential in girls, we usually are in good stead. The few times we've deviated is when, you know, things haven't gone as well as we would like, but staying true to our purpose, staying true to inspiring girls has always resonated with this brand. It's amazing. And as you said, it's really exciting that there's a timelessness to Barbie, you know, that we've spanned multiple generations. And I would argue today we're actually more relevant than ever before.
Well, tell us a little bit about how content has kept Barbie relevant, right? And where you're running the content and how you're running the content and who you're trying to reach.
Well, content and storytelling is so critical, and certainly now more than ever as everyone is sheltering in home. We've made a conscious effort to be choiceful in the ways that we try to reach consumers, as well as the storytelling narrative itself. About 6 or 7 years ago, we decided that we had an opportunity to make Barbie more in the front and center of our stories. In the past, we created animated movies where Barbie was actually a character and she played different roles. And we realized that what girls and consumers were really looking for was more information about Barbie herself. They wanted to get to know her. They wanted to know who her family members were, what she did for fun. So we started to create animated shows and content for YouTube, focusing on Barbie herself in the first person, and frankly addressed topics that made her more relatable and less perfect. And we've had great success not only with our episodic shows and our specials that are animated on Netflix, but we've also had really great success on YouTube. Today, Barbie is the #1 YouTube channel for girls. We have over 11 million subscribers. And one of our best pieces of content is Barbie Vlogger, where she entertains the kids and mimics what cool, hip influencers are doing on YouTube. But at the same time, she also sometimes talks about important topics that are teachable moments. We've recently been resurfacing some of our blogs about feeling sad, because there are kids at home that are struggling with emotions right now and don't know how to articulate how they're feeling. And we want them to know that that's okay and that's normal. So many examples of how we've been evolving the brand in our storytelling. And then, of course, we've got really fun narratives on our social channels, at Barbie and at Barbie Style, where, you know, she's I'd like to say a woke tastemaker and influencer. You know, again, and we had to quickly pivot all of that content when we all found ourselves in these unusual circumstances.
That's exactly right. Tell us a little bit more about you. Thank You for Heroes program that you guys are running right now.
Well, Mattel a few weeks ago introduced a macro program called Play It Forward, where we're trying to bring all of our brands together to give back to certain communities in times of need. And so we launched Thank You Heroes as a campaign underneath Play It Forward a few weeks ago with Fisher Price. And they did a really nice job introducing action figures celebrating, you know, real folks out on the front lines right now, like doctors and nurses and firefighters, et cetera. Interestingly, Barbie has always had a variety of careers, and Barbie's been a role model herself over the decades. And so our approach was, let's create a program where we celebrate these heroes with dolls. So we have a Dr. Barbie, a dentist Barbie, a grocery clerk Barbie, a firefighter, a policewoman, you name it. And what we're doing is we're for every doll that we sell in one of these First Responder Hero themes, we're donating a doll to the First Responders Children's Foundation. So we're really excited about this program. We just launched it this week, and the response on social has been fantastic. And you know, we hope we can do good and provide some comfort for kids right now, because of course, you know, now more than ever, everyone needs comfort, as well as we believe that playtime is therapeutic, and play shouldn't be canceled just because we're in this unusual circumstance.
By the way, I can notice behind me, there's two balloons over my head. For people wondering why they're there, it's my son's graduation from college today. So in case everybody's wondering what's above my head, those are two balloons to celebrate my son's graduation today.
Well, congratulations. That's a big deal. That's another tough thing right now. We're actually trying to figure out how do we honor grads, because of course everyone's dealing with a virtual ceremony and missing their friends, and it's a crazy time.
Yeah, we will have a virtual ceremony. We actually have an old cap and gown, so we're going to embarrass them pretty much tonight about 6 o'clock. Let me ask you a question. You know, so much has changed from when I was at Nickelodeon in 2012 to 2020. I mean, you can't believe it when you look back. How have you adjusted the Mattel and Barbie's media to meet the ever-changing viewership habits of today's kids?
Yeah, obviously there's been so much disruption in the media landscape. And I think what we found early on is certainly there isn't one linear path. You know, you need a layered approach, and kids are consuming multiple platforms almost at the same time. I mean, they've got multiple screens in front of them. So we really just try to go wherever our consumer is spending their time and where their viewing habits are. So we do a lot of analytical work. We subscribe to some companies that help us analyze our media mix. And we look at that annually to see, of the media levers that we're pulling, what's driving both short-term sales as well as has a long-term sales benefit. That helps us get more guidance on where we want to invest more. But it's absolutely a combination of top of the funnel to bottom of the funnel activation. It's certainly a lot in search. It's still linear TV. It's SVOD. It's YouTube. It's social channels. So we're really everywhere. And like I said, it's a very layered approach.
Does it make it harder because of all the COPA regulations with kids and privacy to find the kids' eyeballs on TV and other devices these days?
It definitely does. One area that we still have not cracked the code on yet is TikTok. Really popular platform. And I've got 2 teenage daughters, and I can attest to that. And there's been a lot of TikTok activity in our household recently. I don't know how that online learning's going. But anyway, Barbie right now, because of Mattel COPA compliance, cannot participate because it's a platform for 13 up. So we're trying to figure out how to participate. One idea is we've got, like I mentioned earlier, content and animated specials. We've got one coming up that has a music soundtrack. So we might hand over some of these songs to influencers on TikTok and let them have fun with them and make it their own. So trying to figure out ways to integrate on a very popular platform. But yes, you're right. As a children's brand, our hands are cuffed a little bit more than other brands.
And can we get 40 and 50-year-old people to stop trying to make TikTok videos? Is that anything you can help us with?
Oh, I don't know. I've been dragged into a few. It's like, please tell me you're not posting this.
So, talk a little bit about age compression. I remember when I was at Nickelodeon, the big story was whether kids who were 11, 12, 13 years old can have cell phones. I can't believe that was just a few years ago. But talk about how you guys handle age compression and also co-viewing. Like, how important is co-viewing to you in the whole scheme of things?
Okay, well, with age compression, it's definitely real. Kids are outgrowing traditional toy play at a younger age. So it's important, of course, that we reach them when they're in their younger years and in that sweet spot. The beauty of Barbie is that we do appeal to multiple generations. While the doll business is an incredibly important part of our business, we also are in multiple categories of product. We have apparel partnerships. We work with MAC Cosmetics that appeal to young adults. Our content also ages up and certainly is appealing to the kids that play with our dolls, but also appeals to a broader audience. So we're always trying to think about multiple audiences at the same time. And then, of course, because Barbie's been around for over 60 years, we've got a big collector community. So the good news is it's a broad brand. It's a multidimensional franchise. So we do reach multiple audiences. Co-viewing is a really great point. We are finding more and more that there are shows where there is co-viewing. And so we think about our advertising with that multi-audience in mind. We think about what's the right messaging for those types of programs when we do media buys. And then what I like to say is our content does have adults in mind. We think about kids, but we also think about adults. I mentioned earlier, some of our content has teachable moments. There are moments around in our Barbie vlog where she's doing fun challenges. And one is called the baby food challenge. Her eyes are closed. Ken feeds her baby food and she tries to guess what it is. That's something that's very appealing to the kid audience. But when she's talking about feeling sad, one of her episodes is about why do women say they're sorry so often? That really strikes a chord not only with kids, but also with adults. So definitely always thinking about multiple audiences.
Talk a little bit about your insights team inside Mattel and how that helps direct you with your marketing and data and all the things moving forward to continue to keep Barbie so relevant.
Well, we're very proud of our insights team. We talk to consumers almost every day. Of course, now we're doing this virtually, but when we're literally in our offices or when we're able to go outside of our offices, we also like to go to people's homes. And we've also got a really robust learning center at Mattel itself, where we invite kids and families in to test products, talk about themes and issues that are going on in their lives. But we've got a great insights team. And I think that's key to success, is to always listen and be in lockstep with what's happening, not only with consumers, but with society and culture. As I mentioned a second ago, given these extraordinary times, we had to pivot a lot of our social channel messaging and make sure that Barbie herself was not photographed with friends on @BarbieStyle, because we're all quarantined right now. So now Barbie Style only shows her at home. She's participating in the recipe exchanges that are going on. She's been doing all these fun challenges. She cut her own bangs. So again, we try to make sure that we're playing back what's happening in society and that it shows that we're listening.
So, so much has changed, right? The kids have been out of school for a long time. They mostly will be home for the summer. How have you adjusted, and how has play changed for kids? And what are you seeing in terms of even some of your sales about products that usually are holiday products that are being consumed now, even during this time, because of the change in play?
Yeah, it's been a really fascinating, couple of months. What we've seen in the toy industry was initially in March, categories that really saw a big surge were games and puzzles, arts and crafts, outdoor equipment. So everyone was sort of rallying around activities and games and toys that you could play as a family. That's still the case, but now we're seeing a real migration to more of the traditional categories like dolls, where families are, I don't know how to say this delicately, but parents are a little burnt out and don't necessarily want to play games with their kids anymore. So now they want their kids to play independently or do virtual play dates with friends. And that's where dolls are now seeing a really nice uptick. But what's really exciting is one of our best-selling products right now is our Barbie Dreamhouse. This is a $200 item, and it's typically a fourth quarter holiday purchase. But what we're hearing in research and also talking to our retailers is that because a lot of events and birthdays have been canceled, as well as the desire for parents to find toys that will occupy more of their kids' time, they're leaning into these bigger ticket items that have a lot of play value. People are buying the dream house, they're decorating the dream house with household items, and it's really fun to see. And of course, the dream house is also an item that is the focal of our storytelling on Netflix. We have an episodic series called Dreamhouse Adventures. So everything kind of feeds on itself. And the viewership for that show is also up dramatically.
Tell us what's next. So that's kind of today. I know you can't divulge a lot of secrets, but like, what do you see in with the changing world, the way we are playing and age compression and all the different things that are going on in the marketplace with the pandemic and all that? Is that entering into your thinking about what's next for Barbie?
Absolutely. We're actually starting to brainstorm our 2022 product line. And we're talking now about the post-COVID generation of kids and what that looks like. What I can share is that this generation of kids not only is incredibly resilient, but really cares about the world around them. And so we're going to be thinking more about infusing even more purpose into our product and our communication programs. This is a group of kids that has a ton of empathy. You can rest assured there'll be more play sets and themes around the medical profession in Barbie's world coming up. And of course, we're always looking at what's an authentic way for us to focus on sustainability more intently.
Does that play into the Dream Gap project that you have and all the statistics about how you want girls to be empowered?
Absolutely. Yeah, the Dream Gap is a global initiative that we launched a year ago, which is grounded in the insights that starting at the age of 5, girls start believing that their gender is less capable and less competent than the male gender. There's a lot of reasons why that's occurring. But we believe that girls certainly need, as a starting point, more positive role models around them to show them that they can be anything. So certainly seeing all these amazing women on the front lines in the medical profession, risking their lives, being selfless, moving away from their families, is definitely an area that we're going to want to look at more closely and show girls that this is an important career field and could be something that they want to pursue when they get older.
Well, I have a daughter who is a doctor, so I would support that fully. And I have another daughter in the TV business, so both of them I'm very proud of. And, sky's the limit for both of them. I tell them every day. So that's an amazing initiative for you guys, and one I support 100% as a dad of two women. So as you go forward now, what are some of the things that you have to think about, pitfall challenges that you're going to have to navigate through to continue to make sure that the right people are getting the message for Barbie?
Well, one thing that's really interesting is live events are certainly in question right now. And we actually were, as an extension of the Dream Gap, we were planning in March to host a planning to host a live You Can Be Anything festival. And proceeds of the ticket sales were going to go fund the Dream Gap, to do more research to understand why at the age of 5 do girls start doubting themselves. Obviously that was canceled. And so we are starting to think more about how do we bring communities together virtually, and even with our retail partners, how do we create retailtainment events virtually with the same amount of impact? Now, what we just found with your former Nickelodeon team is we had a very successful integration into the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards this year that aired last weekend. And I'm told that viewership of the live event was up 30% versus a year ago. And there was even more co-viewing than in the past 3 years. So we all have to just think differently. And then from a shopping standpoint, you're not going to you can't assume that kids are going to be in the stores touching and feeling product and asking for product. And what does that mean for try-me's on toy packaging? And so we are needing to think more about digital first, which is it's a great challenge.
Well, I think we have about 7 minutes left, and I could ask you a million more questions, but I think this is the time when I'm supposed to hit the button and let some of the viewers ask you a question. So I'm going to attempt this. So hold on. Okay. So this is from Maria Pastor, and she said, you mentioned being everywhere, such as YouTube and other platforms. How do you feel about leveraging influencers across platforms such as Instagram? And what do you look for in vendors that can assist you with the strategy and execution of influencer marketing?
So we definitely value influencers, and we value them in their ability to bring us an audience that we might not normally have. So we get the benefit of their fandom and their followers. We do work with influencers on social and digital platforms. I think now what's interesting is, just as we have to manage our brand and make sure that we're not appearing tone deaf and that we're listening to society, we've got to now have that same scrutiny with our influencers. Some of them are responding really well to these extraordinary times. Some of them are not, unfortunately. So we are going to be more careful about vetting the partners that we work with. Excellent.
We're going to go to another question. This is from, and I'm always a little worried to read these out loud without vetting them first, but we'll give it a try. So this is from Larry Lundy. And I'm trying to see why that's not opening. So somebody wrote, how is Mattel using first-party data, right, to find your audiences? And I'm not sure you can regarding first-party data, but I'm going to ask it anyway and see what you guys are able and not able to do because of privacy rules with kids.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's certainly tricky. I mean, what's unique about the toy business is you've got the user, which is a child, but the purchaser is a parent. So we are able to use data about shoppers and our shopper behaviors and looking at shopper analytics. But we do not have data on children.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to another question. It looks like we have about 10 more minutes to do this. How is Mattel planning to promote the Dream Gap Project's mission in the post-COVID world?
Well, we're working on, again, a virtual execution of a festival or a convening moment with inspiring speakers and role models and activities to celebrate the fact that girls today, now more than ever, actually need to continue to be inspired and need to see that there are many possibilities out there for them. Interestingly, what we're finding is girls in underserved communities are really struggling right now with what's happening with COVID. So we'll be doing a lot to raise awareness about these underserved communities and ideally raising funds to work with organizations to help give these girls the tools that they need to achieve their dreams. The tools vary depending on audience. Again, there are some girls that are struggling with online learning at home because they just don't have the Wi-Fi or they don't have, a tablet. They've got to share a tablet with 3 siblings. So some of the funds could go to help remedy that. In other circumstances, girls are fine with online learning. They're getting the education that they need, but they need to be inspired and they need to see paths and ways to break into career fields that have been traditionally male-dominated.
Excellent. Next question. How does Barbie reach its audience at scale, as temple events like the Kids' Choice Awards don't have the same viewership they used to?
What's fortunate about Barbie, and it's certainly not something that we take lightly, but we like to say that when she sneezes, the world pays attention. There is a lot of interest in Barbie, good and bad. It certainly has its challenges, but because we span over 6 decades and have multiple generations of fans and 99% awareness around the world, Barbie's become part of pop culture. So we've got a lot of awareness and a lot of interest. And if anything, what we found in years past, when we're not actively driving the narrative around the brand, other people drive the narrative for us. And years ago, the narrative was not positive. So we are very active around the messaging that we put forth from an earned media standpoint and the way we show up with our product line and our content and our communications. We're always very conscious of making sure that we're walking the talk. Today I couldn't be more proud. We've got the most diverse product line of dolls in the world. There's over 100 different Barbies reflecting different ethnicities with skin tones and hair color and hair fiber, different body types. We've even got Barbies with physical disabilities. And our goal is to make sure that our brand and our product line is as accessible as possible and is as good of a reflection of the world as it can be for girls. But in terms of reach, fortunately, we do tend to get a lot of interest and high engagement on the brand.
How do you deal, this is one of my questions again, how do you deal with the competition, right? There's many other dolls in the marketplace. Like, do you take them into account when you're thinking about Barbie, or do you just stay true to your own message?
We absolutely study the competition. And, we never measure ourselves against ourselves. It doesn't work if, our sales are up year over year, but we're losing market share. We've got to make sure that we're winning in the market and that we're relevant and breaking through with kids. I'll give you one example. There's a huge trend in toys right now, especially in girls' toys, around unboxing and surprises. And it's called Surprise Reveal. And there's a couple brands that have been doing it really well. Barbie was a little late to the game in that area because we couldn't find an authentic way for us to participate. And late last year, we finally cracked it. And we've got an amazing doll line called Color Reveal Barbie. She comes in a canister that almost looks like a tennis ball can. And you open up and unbox the package. And you've got a doll that looks like it's dipped in a solid color of paint. You put the doll in water, the paint dissolves, and you see a really cute Barbie in a bathing suit. And then there's little packets of clothing that you unpack and unbox, and you dress the doll. And there's play accessories. So it's a great way for Barbie to capitalize on a popular trend that, frankly, we looked at and got cues from the toy industry and from our competitive set.
One of the people I work with bought the Barbie airplane, and he tells me it's gigantic.
Yes.
So are there more accessories like that coming down the pipe?
Well, Barbie, she certainly wants for nothing. She's got the dream life, as we like to say. So she's got her dream house, she's got her dream plane, her dream camper. You name the vehicle, she's got it. And again, all these accessories, while it's fun to poke at them a little bit, and certainly, as I mentioned, she's part of pop culture. We get a lot of Saturday Night Live skits and memes about Barbie. We embrace them. It's all good. But really, all of these accessories and even all the different dolls and the fashions, they're all to ignite storytelling. And that's the purpose. They're story starters. And I can guarantee you that if you watch a child sitting on the floor playing with Barbies, you'll know what I mean. The stories that are made up, the way that girls role play, the way that they sort through their emotions and express themselves through these dolls is really amazing and something we're very proud of.
Excellent. I'm going to ask you two more questions if you have the time.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, great.
I'm going nowhere.
Yeah. Well, let me look at my calendar. Oh, I'm free. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right. How have you remained so agile with your marketing efforts? Do you have an in-house or external agency that you work with? I know that answer, but I'll let you answer.
Well, I've got to say, I am so proud of the team. We've got a great Mattel internal team. So we've got, I have an internal agency that works on marketing communications for Barbie and the doll portfolio. We've also got a centralized digital marketing team for the company. And then, we work very closely with a bunch of agency partners. For Barbie specifically, we work with ABDO for all of our brand anthemic marketing programs and campaigns. We work with Deutsch on social. And we work with, a bunch of other amazing PR firms, Weber Chandwick, for example, for all of our earned media programs. So it is a huge team effort. I like to say that it certainly takes a village to manage the Barbie brand and communications.
If I had to name one of your biggest challenges going forward, what's the one thing that keeps you up at night?
I would say what keeps me up at night is sustainability.
Yeah. Well, you've done it for 60-something years, so I think you probably got that covered.
Yeah, I worry. It's more around the environmental impact piece. And it's a toy industry challenge, and it's actually a challenge for many industries. And Mattel is committed. We put forth a goal to have all of our products, derived from sustainable materials by 2030. So we're on that journey right now. But, it's definitely complex, but one that we're really excited about.
So without Toys R Us, right, and a big toy retailer, and now Walmart and Target, right, how are you managing through the changing world of retail, of course, with Amazon and everything else that's out there?
Well, certainly we are seeing the need for, omni-channel approaches, and Walmart and Target are rising to the occasion. And of course, Amazon is digital first. But it is definitely making us think differently about how we build our product line, how many items do you have in an assortment versus single items. It makes us think about price points differently. Like I mentioned earlier, try me packaging. What's the role of packaging if you're making an online-only purchase? So it's really definitely retail disruption is causing us all to challenge ourselves like never before.
Great. I'm going to go into the Q&A. We don't want to kill you here and ask questions all day, but let me just see if I can pick a couple of good ones out here. So one says, life in the dream house is hilarious. Life in the dream house. I don't know what that means. That's why I said I got to read these before I ask you these. So how does Barbie reach? Okay, now we answered that one. Now I think we answered all these questions, Lisa. I think we got them all down. So with that, I just want to say thank you, right, for spending this time with us on Friday. And if there's one thing you would leave us with, what's the message you would love to leave everybody with today?
Well, I'd love to just remind everybody that certainly for all of us, we're in this together, but that, for any of you with kids at home or that have kids in your lives or in the neighborhood, now more than ever, it's important to celebrate playtime. And we've got to get creative. Playtime is not canceled. So I think the more that we can think about ways to bring comfort to our kids in this extraordinary time, the better. And I hope that you all consider the Mattel portfolio of toys when you do that. Well,
like I said, near and dear to my heart, and the only thing I can do is wish you health and well-being, but more importantly, continued success for an amazing company, an amazing brand, and one that truly meant a lot to me during my time with Nickelodeon and even my time past Nickelodeon now. So I just thank you, and just amazing work, and we all appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Jim. It was a pleasure. Great to be in this forum. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you both so much, Jim. Amazing job, Lisa. It's always a pleasure having you. To your thought earlier about the what you mentioned about sort of the unboxing and the surprise category. I've got two girls, 4 and 8, and we are in the thick of it with all of the surprises. We had a Hatchimals emergency this morning. I mean, it was. But it's certainly a fascinating, because again, you don't know what you're going to get, and if your sister gets the one that you want, forget about it, right? So
World War III.
It's a fascinating, exactly, right? It's a fascinating landscape, and again, all the amazing purpose-driven work you guys are doing is so impressive, and just really thank you both so much for being here. I know our community really appreciates your time and your insight. So yes, please stay well, stay healthy, and we hope to have you back again soon.
Yeah, we should have one last thing. You're going to need, with kids that young, a Barbie 529. Okay, so you better get one started.
Yeah, the Barbie retirement count. Well, we'll get it all. We're getting there. They're onboarding into the Barbie family as we speak, actually. So we love it all. I'm blessed that they have many interests, from Star Wars to Barbies to everything in between. They're eclectic like that. So it's fantastic. But again, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to your day jobs. It's gonna have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully we'll have you back again here soon.
Thank you so much.
That was great. Thanks so much. It was a ton of fun.
Thank you both. Great.